the ninth justice to go to the court and fill it up. That will be determined largely by this FBI investigation that you heard from the president is very much underway. They were working late at night through the weekend to get it done. And he says, the president, he's not putting any restrictions on it, despite reports over the weekend to the contrary. In fact, we just learned Kavanaugh friend Mark Judge has talked to the FBI through his lawyer. His lawyer says the FBI has not finished it yet, though, so maybe they have more questions for Mark Judge. Remember, a deadline of Friday was set not by the president, but by the senators who cut that deal. Republican Jeff Flake, Democrat Chris Coons. A one-week probe by the FBI to focus on what was said to be current and credible allegations, like the charge from Dr. Christine Ford, not necessarily new ones. But Coons cracked the door open to expanding this by saying in interviews he can't control what new allegations may pop up. Sure enough, other unverified charges are popping up. A Washington Post story quoting a former Yale classmate is claiming Kavanaugh was a violent drunk. The White House tonight putting out statements from other classmates saying that's not true. MSNBC airing an interview with Julie Swetnick, who claims there were gang rapes in high school, even though NBC itself says tonight they could not corroborate this information with anyone else. All of this coming as Mitch McConnell charged that Democrats are going to try to drag this FBI probe out beyond Friday. Watch.
After it runs its course in the next few days, we will then be treated to a lecture that anything short of a totally unbounded fishing expedition of indefinite duration is too limited or too arbitrary. You can practically hear the sounds of the Democrats moving the goalposts.
The White House seems to be micromanaging and straitjacketing an investigation that must uncover the facts and evidence.
Now, that was Democrat Richard Blumenthal. Remember, he got a tongue lashing in the Rose Garden today from the president, who said he lied, Blumenthal did, about his Vietnam War record. The president insists he hasn't put the FBI investigation in a straitjacket. And the president also said there were other unnamed Democrats he's seen in compromising positions, suggesting that they had been inebriated. Watch.
My White House will do whatever the senators want. What they're doing to this man and his family is very, very sad and very bad for our nation. Look at Blumenthal. He lied about Vietnam. He didn't just say, hey, I went to Vietnam. No. For 15 years, he said he was a war hero. And he's up there saying, we need honesty and we need integrity. I know them. I know them too well. And you know what? They are not angels.
Could you tell us who and exactly what situation?
No. I think I'll save it for a book like everybody else, and I'll write it.
Then there's Arizona prosecutor Rachel Mitchell, of course, helped the Republican senators ask questions at last Thursday's hearing. She's now put together a memo for Republican senators who says that this basically is a he said, she said, and that there is simply several holes in Christine Ford's story. Martha?
Thank you very much. Joining me now, Louisiana Senator John Kennedy, who you saw throughout the course of all of this last week, sitting up there on the dais with the Judiciary Committee. And he says that he believes Judge Kavanaugh's denial, and he plans to vote for him. Senator, thank you very much. Good to have you here this evening. So tell me a little bit about your reaction to the latest, because as we all knew, if there was a week-long delay, there was likely to be new information. And tonight we have this interview that was done with Julie Swetnick, and where she was asked about the charge of gang rape that she says happened to her at a party that she was at, and she claims that she saw Mark Judge and Brett Kavanaugh standing on line at similar parties. And you asked directly about this during the hearing. So let's play what Julie Swetnick had to say, and I would like your reaction, Senator.
What happened to me is probably the most horrendous, awful thing that could happen to any human being. I cannot specifically say that he was one of the ones who assaulted me. I saw him around the punch, I won't say bowls, or the punch containers. I don't know what he did, but I saw him buy them.
Your reaction, Senator.
How many GoFundMe accounts does she have?
This entire thing makes me want to heave. If you think this is about searching for the truth, you ought to put down the bong. This is not about the truth. This is about gamesmanship and power, political politics. It's just that simple. Ms. Swetnick, there's no corroboration. She says that she attended 10 gang rapes at which Judge Kavanaugh was supposedly involved. She didn't report any of them. She is represented by Mr. Avenatti, who has done his dead level best to make all of this about Mr. Avenatti. I don't think anybody in the Milky Way could be surprised that the Democrats are yet again moving the goalpost. There is nothing we can do to get our Democratic friends to consider voting for Judge Kavanaugh. The only way to make them happy is to pull him down and, I guess, dig up Bill Douglas and nominate him. And anybody else who thinks otherwise is just kidding themselves. Look, this is what the Democrats say. They say that Brett Kavanaugh is a rich, drunk, lying sexual predator. He's been through 6 FBI background checks, each of which is a cross between an endoscopy and a colonoscopy, and none of this was turned up. Now he's going through the 7th one, which the Democrats demanded. And we're not even halfway through, probably, and now they're unhappy with that. Give me a break. I mean, I think the American, and then the people up here in Washington, the cosmopolitan culture crowd, they think the American people are stupid. The American people have figured this out, regardless of what they think about Judge Kavanaugh. They figured this out.
Well, I'm curious what you think, because I know that you think that the vote's going to happen this week, and we have heard that they are going through these investigations fairly quickly from the pace that appears to be happening. What do you think Senator Manchin will do? What do you think your fellow senators will do? What do you think Senator Donnelly will do when it comes down to an actual vote?
I don't know, but it's time for senators to be senators and to grow some guts, and to woman up or man up and cast a vote. And if the longer we wait, the more allegations are going to come out. Now there's a professor down in North Carolina State. He says that Judge Kavanaugh drank to excess. Some of his other classmates said he didn't. Keep in mind, this was 40 years ago.
Let me just play that for you. We have that, and it's a quick side. Let's take a listen to it so that everybody knows what you're referring to.
About his past actions on national television, and more especially while speaking under oath in front of the United States Senate, I believe those lies should have consequences. It is truth that is at stake, and I believe that the ability to speak the truth, even when it does not reflect well upon oneself, is a paramount quality we seek in our nation's most powerful judges.
But you never saw him passed out?
No, I never saw him passed out, but I saw him quite drunk.
Well, there you have it.
I'm going to stand by what I said 2 weeks ago. This is a freak show, an intergalactic freak show. It's a grotesque carnival, and it's only going to get worse. And I am embarrassed for the United States Senate. We have hit bottom and started to dig.
Let me ask you about your colleague Senator Flake. He made a number of appearances after Friday. He was on 60 Minutes. He did an event in Central Park in New York where he talked to the crowd about, maybe I've seen you in the elevator or something, referring to the women who were confronting him in the elevator. He did another appearance today in Boston. What do you make of all that?
Well, Jeff's going to have to vote his conscience. And he and Senator Coons got together and decided we needed a delay. I've yet to hear Senator Coons, who's a good friend of mine. I have the world of respect for him, but I haven't yet. I'll bet you right now about how Chris votes on this nomination finally. I just don't think there's anything that we can do to get Democratic votes. I don't. Maybe Joe Manchin, maybe Heidi Heitkamp, but I think everybody's drawn a conclusion. I mean, Kavanaugh's been through 6, now 7 FBI background checks.
Well, that sounds like you feel like you don't have the numbers to vote to bring him in.
I really don't know. But I do think this. This isn't like wine. It's not going to get better with time. And it's time for everybody to woman up and man up and be a senator and cast your vote in front of God and country. And I'm fully trust the FBI. I want to wait and see what they turn up. but I have a feeling